welcome back to the dungeon. Today we're going retro. I have here the Aztek, which was Testors' version of the Airbrush. The thing was very awkward looking, but it sprayed okay. Comes in a nice wooden box. Now, these tips, all various sizes and purposes. A medium, a heavy, fine tip, which is like a 3mm. And these nozzles, everything is self-contained. You have your spring and your needle right inside, and if you pull the middle out, that's the nozzle, and then the outside casing is the air cap. Now, I got two of these model A470s, and they were thrown in there. This is the one that I actually bought the kit for. This is the A7778, which is made of metal as opposed to the plastic resin ones. And these nozzles just screw right in, and the way they work is they're open by default till you screw them in. Now there's this tool, but it's mostly for cleaning. It does have a little wrench part that you can tighten or loosen your nozzles, but you can tighten them up by hand just fine. If you adjust the wheel on the back, it adjusts the trigger to where it'll open it up like a single action. So you spray it, and then you adjust that until nothing's coming out. Then you're all set for double action. Now, the way these work is it's a side feed, so you can run a jar, you can run these pots, all different sizes, and there's several different hookup things. If you want to hook up to the different types of air, your hose will connect here, and that's just another end for screwing on your hose. But the hose will connect here, and then this thing would screw onto an aerosol can, and then you would get your air to the aerosol can. Of course, we're just going straight into our compressor. We're not bothering with that. But I have, when I bought this, I found it on Craigslist, and it came with a bunch of extra stuff: a cleaning pot, an airbrush stand, the two extra airbrushes with the tons of parts, like different tips and nozzles and jars, and got a whole Lazy Susan thing of jars. So we're not going to disturb any of this stuff. We're just going to use the 0.3 nozzle in the metal brush. Well, but the pins, you can switch sides. If you're left-handed, you might want it over here. And there's a little cap. Now, we're not going to dismantle anything because there's no need to. Like I said, everything is in the nozzle. And if you did tear it down, you'd find nothing in common with a standard airbrush. So let's head to the easel and check it out. We're running illustration black right out of the bottle at 20 psi. Okay, coming out a little spidery. Yeah, the line's broken up and spidery, so I'm going to knock it down to 15 psi. Touchy, but it will pull a fine line. When it's on, it'll go very fine. I mean, it's better than you would expect from a plastic nozzle. I mean, the needle is metal in the spring, but the rest of this nozzle assembly is plastic. See, it will perform. You can get some really fine detail once you get it dialed in. And these dots are nice and small. Field time. Nice atomization. Nice gradient down. Very gradual. This is the OG detail airbrush for Testors, for model painting. And it was an interesting innovation, very unconventional compared to the rest of the airbrush world. Made swapping needles out or clean up like a snap. You can clean it out very quickly. You can pull this needle assembly apart in seconds and drop it in some solvent, shake it up, and it'll pretty much clean right up. The needles are durable. The nozzles, you have to be careful not to stretch them out because they are plastic. Some of these needles are even plastic, so depending on what it's for. I know there's like a texture nozzle or stipple. Got like the gray is medium, and the one I'm using now is the 10, and that's fine. It's a 0.3. And you have the white, which I believe is heavy. So there's a lot of options. I noticed one thing, it doesn't seem to suffer from tip dry. The needle does pull back all the way into the end of the nozzle, so that probably helps keep it wet. But like when you're doing lines, there still is an intermittent skipping going on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to thin this way down with some 4011 to about a 2-to-1. I'm knocking the pressure down to 10 psi. That's pretty nice. The flow is much more consistent. So yeah, you can really get anything you want out of this brush. You gotta dial it in until you get it, working exactly what you want. Now, anybody that watches my channel regularly knows that I lost my steady hand to a series of strokes. So it's not the brush that is making the lines shaky. That's me. Which is why I use a lot of stencils when I'm working on a piece. But yeah, you could really dig in and get some tight details if you take your time. Yeah, atomization is even nicer with this over reduction, so yeah, you can get a hairline. Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, this is as good as your standard airbrushes. I mean, it's not like the top of the line top, but it can hold its own in general use. You get these lines pretty thin with this fine tip. Yet it still goes to color really fast if you want. Okay, so that's where we're at. It's a cool old brush, and I love owning it. If you get your chance to get your hands on one for the right price, grab it. If you're into nostalgia. All right, thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.